Hey, good evening. It's 10 to 10 here in the UK, and we're going to take our usual look at the crypto market and see what we've got planned for this week. Right, I'm going to bring across a couple of statistics for you. In terms of Ethereum, we have 0 long contracts from the commercials and 317 short contracts, and that was a reduction in Ethereum of 100%. So basically, all the long contracts were cut this week. And then on Bitcoin, we have seen a 91% reduction in long contracts from commercials. So it doesn't paint a very positive picture for crypto. And most of the markets are actually creating similar sort of patterns. I'm going to start with Ethereum, and this is something that we've looked at for the last few weeks. And I'm not going to lie, I'm getting pretty bored of crypto right now. It's not really doing anything. We need something to happen. We need the market to break one way or the other. It's just been in consolidation, and we know that after a period of consolidation, so we can see here we've got Ethereum operating within like $100 range. It needs to move one way or the other to basically attract buyers or sellers. And based on what we're seeing from the commercial perspective, I suspect we're going to see a move like this. We're probably going to come not just into this area, and I've been saying it for a few weeks. So again, I'm getting a little bit bored of this same synopsis that we're outlining. I expect we'll see a push through this level, catching some stops and getting rid of some leverage positions before we see then maybe the dead cat bounce and the reversal. So essentially, what needs to happen to attract buyers? I mean, what attracts you to buying anything? It's either the market is desiring that because literally it's at such a good value, or there's a need for it. So if there's a need for something, it will then fetch a premium, or something is so massively undervalued that it all of a sudden becomes attractive based on price. And right now, I think we need to create that desire by coming down into a price point, and whether that's $1,000, $850, who knows. But I suspect we will test this wick low over here, which is down at, what's that, just under $900, around 880. So I'm suspecting more downside. We look at the bigger picture on Ethereum, we can see that we did have left shoulder, head, right shoulder, there's your neckline, and this move here is equal to this move here. So we could see a very small sort of extension of that as the final drive down, but I suspect we'll probably come down and test that 1,000, and like I said, I've said it several times now for several weeks that I suspect we'll see price test that 1,000 barrier and probably pierce it to try and blow out a few stops. If we look at Bitcoin, again, it's a very similar picture. We're sat on those 2017 swing highs. The market's just literally doing nothing now for what, basically 7 weeks we've been sat in this little range here. So again, we're going to see a market break down, potentially break those lows there, hopefully attract some buyers, and then we can see maybe a start of the next bull run. Or is fears of recession, are we going to start to see even more pressure on this asset, or will it become an asset that is going to be diverse and seen as a safe haven through what could be a pretty tough recession if it does happen, if interest rates are going to continue to keep going the way that's forecast from not just the Fed, but here in the UK it's looking very bleak. We are forecasting recession for 2023. So what's going to happen with assets, especially the digital assets? Are they going to be seen as a safe haven? Because more recently they have been tracking the performance of indexes such as the S&P, NASDAQ, etc. That you'll find that these markets have been tracking the performance of a risk asset when they used to be seen as a diversification to risk. Let's take a look at something like Solana. You can see again a very similar picture here. You've had that strong impulsive move lower, correction, impulsive move lower. The correction's been weaker. We've come back down and we're now sat on those 2020 lows back here, 2021 lows, sorry, where we can see the market is effectively just stuck and waiting for, I think, that next flush down into these lows here, maybe around 20 to 21, where these could be really interesting areas to start accumulating these markets. Whether whether this is going to be the bottom or you're going to see it push even further, who knows. But that's where I would expect to start looking and putting some small speculative accumulation strategies into getting hold of this particular coin. Obviously, if we see a move above sort of 47, then that would see a change in structure here on the weekly, because then we're breaking those highs and we've seen the market effectively double bottom. We create a new high, that's a change in structure, and then we can look for that next higher low to get long. If we look at something like MATIC, this is probably one of the stronger performing markets when we look at it in terms of a structure base. You can see it has a very similar pattern to Ethereum, where we've had those two drives that have come down, the rally, and now this consolidation. The question is, if we get above these highs here, then it's going to be outperforming the market and we can see a change in structure to get long. Or what you could potentially see is where the market creates this lower high, it's come down, it's created a higher low, and now we need to either break these lows here or break those highs for confirmation of trend. So we break low, we've got a lower low, or we break above, we get a higher high. So it's just now just focusing on structure and what's happening, and then moving down to Cardano and ADA. You can see this market is actually probably the weakest of the lot, because we go back to those previous swing highs like Bitcoin, and where we've seen the market consolidate. If we just zoom into this area right now, the difference here is these highs are progressively getting lower, and what we've already done is we've broken that support level, and we had a solid close last week below that level. So if you are looking at trading and you do feel that the market is a bearish market, which is what I see it as, then we can break down and go into this chart and start looking for selling opportunities. So realistically, if I wanted to be a seller of this market, I'd want to see the market come back into some sort of structure area, whether that's 0.4 or 0.42, and then start seeing sellers come back in so that we can start taking advantage of that rollover. So that's what I'll be looking for. Basically, Cardano is highlighting the weakest market out there at the minute, that's of my interest. So expecting to see potential more downside on this market, and if Bitcoin does break through that level, then this is going to be a great market to sell, because it's showing weakness already. So jump on the bandwagon looking for those corrective moves in a bearish trend. Okay, that's it from myself, Mark, here tonight, and we'll come back with some index updates for you tomorrow. That'll be from Nolan, and I'll be back on Thursday with some commodities. Alright guys, take care, have a good evening.